Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V, and thanks for watching. So, all good things must come to an end, must they? Well, I was recently a part of a group that I had no business being a part of because I am not one of them. And I had some fun times, there were some laughs, there was some enjoyment. I would visit this group on Facebook every day or so because I would see that someone posted a comment or a reply or something on some sort of a thread that was hating one thing or another, generally not about the DC reboot, but all relating to it, because the name of their group was something like WTF, what's the deal with DC and the reboot, something along those lines. So any bit of artwork, any statement from any artist, anything said by Dan Didio or anybody else, they would skewer, even if it wasn't specifically related to the reboot. They had a problem with it just because they wanted to yell at the company that they were mad at because their poor little superheroes don't know what to do without the help of these 300 or so people. Here's my problem. You're obviously free to have any opinion that you wish. You can like a reboot, you can not like the reboot, you can like Superman, you can not like Superman, you can think Batman's a complete idiot, you can think the Nolan films aren't that great, like I do. You can love the Nolan films like most of the world does. I'm on the outside of this one too. But here's the thing. When you skewer every little thing that comes out that has nothing to do with the reboot, but just happens to be a bit of artwork where Superman is missing his briefs, and your big complaint is, this isn't the traditional Superman because, oh, he doesn't have his briefs. How could they destroy our hero? Ah! You destroy all your credibility. And if all you ever do is say, I hope DC goes bankrupt. I hope they fail. I hope everything goes down the tubes. I hope that they realize what mistakes they've made when it's too late and no one's buying any books and we never get any superhero movies again. You just sound like an idiot. Because if you're a fan, in general, if you're a fan of superheroes, of DC, of Superman, of Batman, of Green Lantern, whatever, it only makes sense that you should hope for any incarnation of the character to be a success. Now, obviously, if they totally destroy the character, if they make Superman a complete evil scumbag who kills people willy-nilly and who says horrible things and becomes a dictator, then it's not the same Superman. And obviously, any new incarnation of Superman is not exactly the same as the last Superman. But there are groups of these type of fans all over the place. It's not just limited to this one small, not particularly popular Facebook page. They're everywhere. And the thing is that they claim to be fans of superheroes, Superman, DC characters who are all kind of on the side of good, who always err to the giving people an opportunity and allowing people to have their opinion. You know, I go on there and I try to bring some positivity to the group. And hey, I complain about a lot of stuff consistently. And I have problems with things. But, you know, generally I have something to back it up. I have a reason for it. This is just hating to hate. This is just, we don't like the fact that they removed the briefs from Superman. So any story idea, any artwork, any artist that has anything to say about anything, we're just going to post it, say how much we want to slap them, say how much we hope they get sued, say how much they hope they go down the tubes in turmoil and in disgust, depression, and then end up killing themselves. And then I go on there and say some positive things, and I get rude comments skewed toward me, and then I get kicked out of the group, which is fine because it's taking up a lot of my time trying to explain to them why it isn't as bad as they think it is. And I'm not a particular fan of the reboot. I'm not a not fan of the reboot. Comics change over the years. There's always events. There's always crossovers. There's always costume changes. Superman's costume has changed since its inception. His personality has changed since its inception. It's gone back and forth. Sometimes he's uber powerful and able to create universes. Other times, you know, a slap from Silver Banshee makes him bleed. So it's hard to tell exactly when suddenly changes in comics and events and crossovers got to be your drawing point. If that's something that you don't like, if that's something that you think is a gimmick and is no good, then you probably are not a fan of the comics industry, because that's what they do all the time. This is how they try to bring in new readers all the time. And these changes may stick, or they may have been something that they were trying to bring new readers in with. They see whether it succeeds or fails. So far, it seems to be succeeding, even though everybody on that page thinks it's failing. Yeah, the numbers have dropped off. That's going to happen anytime you make major sweeping changes. There's going to be big numbers in the beginning because it gets a lot of press and it's a big deal. And then they're going to go down as time goes on and get closer to normal popularity levels. The thing is, Superman hasn't been popular since the 1980s. So what DC was trying to do, whether it's fueled by ego or whether Didio made a huge mistake or whatever, is they were trying to bring new readership, new popularity, something that made Superman stand out again. And I can only commend them for at least trying to bring Superman back to the levels of popularity that Batman is seeing, that Spider-Man is seeing, that now the Avengers are starting to see. And to see every time I go there how they know the movie's going to fail, Man of Steel, how they're never going to see it, how they're boycotting it, how they don't plan on, and we haven't even seen any footage, and I've talked about this before. It just makes no sense to me. And I would say things like that. If you're a fan and you want superheroes to keep going and you want to see Superman movies and cartoons and other things, why would you pray that it fails? It just makes no sense. If it's no good when it comes out, I'll be the first to admit it. But let's give it a shot if we want to be fans and we want to see more stories like this. I mean, more failures in the Superman venue, and we might not see any Superman movies outside of the comics for our lifetimes. Who knows? There's been too many attempts and too many stalls and too much money spent and too many disappointments. So I would say try to brighten up. But hey, WTF, man. I'm Scotty V. Thanks for watching. Remember, ALUITS.